Hello friends, I'm really excited about this week's challenge accepted because we have the main challenge that Kathy and I are doing, right? The main challenge is we are going to use the sketch that is at Redefined Kreative, the Facebook group this week, and here it is. And I'll go ahead and put it right about here when I start scrapbooking. So I have the sketch, right? I have my kit, which is part of the series that I'm working along with Nicole Jones' Scrap-a-Thon 4 class, which is part of my freeze series. You know how I'm on the spending freeze for the year? So I am working through these kits that I put together as part of Nicole's class, right? Then, and I can't tell you what the prompt is for Nicole's class, but I can tell you everything else. Let's see. So I'm using the sketch. I'm using Nicole Jones' class/kit I made. Rediscover Your Stash has labels, so I want to try to work some labels into this. And Scraptember's goodie is hearts, so I want to work some of that in, and hearts are easy peasy, you know what I'm saying? So the photos I'm going to be using, there's 3 in the sketch, so I wanted to try to use 3 in this as well. This picture right here, oh, somebody turned on water upstairs. All right, so this picture right here, this is my daughter. This is my son's girlfriend, and we went to Drag Queen Bingo. And so this is a selfie that Leanne took with her name. She was so funny. Her name is Iona Lots of Cats. So there is a little bit of a better picture of Iona. She lives, I think she said she was from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Anywho, Drag Queen Bingo, you can go to it in a town very close to me. It's in Royal Oak, Michigan, and it's hilarious, but you better have some thick skin if you go, because there are no topics that are off the table. Like they are very bold. So there's that. So I want to start working on the sketch. I want to incorporate all these fun things that I'm working on right now. And one of the biggest things, I mean, my biggest concentration is using the stash that I have. So let me get working on that. There's some really great layers with those fishtail banners going in. There's some splatty bits. And I've got 3 fun photos to use. Now to use, some of my friends in our freeze gang, in our freeze group that we had, they're like, try to use Fashionista. And I kid you not, this Fashionista line was in my kits that I put together for the Scrap-a-Thon class. So this is what I'm going to be using. I don't know if I'm using I don't know what I'm using in here, but this Fashionista kit was, our paper-based kit was in here. And this kit was originally from the scrap room, I believe, like a year or 2 ago. So and I obviously used it once. I know I used there was brads that came with it and all kinds of stuff, but I did use up lots of it. And now I want to use even more and see if I can get some traction on these pattern papers. We'll see how well I do with that. Okay, I'm going to fast forward the next bits and get crafting and bring you along with me. Wish me luck. Alrighty, so all I've done so far is trim up my photos, and now I was trying to see which side of that black cardstock to use, and one of the sides was really nice and bumpy textury stuff. So I decided, of course, to use that side because nobody but scrapbookers would ever notice, but I did like the play of light on the cardstock. Like the bumpy bits just add just a little bit more. So what I'm doing now is, with the papers that have already been cut into, I'm going ahead and cutting some strips because I want to go ahead and make some banner pieces with them, just to kind of get an idea of the sizes I was going to have and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get my banner strips fishtailed and go from there. I went ahead and gutted this, it's kind of between sage and seafoam green, this this cardstock that came in the kit that I was working in. And I'm going to go ahead and pop up my main photo just on a little bit of fun foam, I guess it's called, but I have the kind that's adhesive on the one side. And now I'm going to go ahead and put these little banner bits on an angle like you see in the sketch there. Now the only difference that I do is I did go ahead and add 3 different pattern papers instead of the 2 for my banners. All right, so they're all on. Now I'm trying to figure out how to put my photos in so that it covers the little gaps in my banner, since I did not quite have enough to fill in all of the gaps, but it does work out just fine, and only you and I know that I do not have complete banner pieces in there, although they would be complete on a tilty anyway. I do put 2 of my photos, I square them off, and the third I'll go ahead and put on an angle just to be a bit whimsical, kind of like what you see in the sketch. All right, so it is time for me to hunt down a title, and I'm going to start by going into this little bin that I have for the extra pieces for my Scrap-a-Thon class, and I'm not going to end up finding anything that I want to make a title with. I do have a subtitle that I will be using these Heidi Swap little stickers right here, and I use the lighter pinky ones. They're actually like clear and little tiny pink lines, but I will end up using those for my subtitle, which I believe will be Iona, lots of cats, because I wanted to remember her name. And then they're slightly difficult to work with because they are clear stickers and they're quite thin, but you know, they did stick on just fine, and that takes care of my little pet peeve with products right now that are supposed to be adhesive. They did work just fine. You just have to be just a little careful with them. So now it's time to get a little bit of a bigger, bold title. I did go into my stash to get these. They are very bold gold, and they have this really great kind of a creamy teal aqua color that is you can see on the sides, and that does end up picking up, see those high heels in the bottom pattern paper? That brings it all together, as well as that cardstock that I am using. So the colors are super easy to work with, and I was just lucky enough that my alphas are actually organized right now, that I could find these really quickly. Okay, so now we're on to the fun part. We have our base of our layout, we've got our pattern paper, we've got a title on there, and now the fun part is just getting to all the decorating bits. So you see there on the sketch, there is some kind of swirly something going along the bottom, so I'm just going to recreate this with this twine that I have. And I got this out of my black color box. I'm so happy that I took the time to do all that, because I was like, all right, what do I have that is black and bendy in the color box, in my black color box? So it was super easy to find. I didn't have to go hunting, or I guess I had to hunt to get into my black color box, but I at least knew where I had to go. So it made it one heck of a lot easier. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a dab of the Aleene's tacky glue anywhere that the little loops would make contact for the most part, and at the top of the loops. And they stay put just fine. I have never had an issue with my, is this stuff called baker's twine? With my twine stuff escaping, as long as I go ahead and attach it that way. You just saw that I found this little scrap, this little journaling card scrap thing. Did not end up using it, and it looks like I have die cuts from 2 different collections were in this kit. So I am using the ones that definitely were part of the Fashionista line. It has that spot on, nice bold seafoam color, and the little glasses are perfect. The Be Classy is perfect. So some of the die cuts are really fun for this. And, you know, fill in my gigantic banner cluster even more. This is a little bit busy of a layout, but I never mind busy. As long as I can use my supplies, I will slap it on and be happy. So I'm going to Frankenstein in a couple of the pieces of my fun foam. I kind of do my best to not waste it, so I have no problem kind of Tetrising pieces in wherever I can. So, you know, the dramatic glasses made sense for this, the high heels make sense for this, all that kind of stuff. And the little quote that says, "Life is too short to wear boring clothes," definitely fits the bill for this event. Iona was very fancy looking in her outfit and extremely dramatic. Alrighty, so I was just trying to get the little bits off from the die cut. You know those little bits that stick up from when they're being punched out. So I was trimming those off, and I am going ahead and finishing up some of the decorative bits, which I wish that, oh, it looks like I'm just putting some foam up top. So I have those Frankenstein on my little circle bit that says "Be Classy," and that is resting right there. And there is a little die cut with a perfume bottle that I like the color of, but I don't necessarily need the whole thing being a big deal. So I have that tucked in. It's just bringing a little bit of color next to Leanne's face. So at this point, I'm taking a look through these Vicky Bouton stickers to see if I can find any labels, because as I told you in the beginning of the video, I'm trying to find labels and hearts this month as things that I add into most of my layouts. So this is where I'm going back through my little box that I started with of all my embellishments for my kits for Scrap-a-Thon, and looking for labels, looking to see if anything works. And I'm like, oh, these brads actually do work. Let's see if I can get them in. And that little booklet that I pulled out right there, I figure there might be some labels in there. That was from a Pay It Forward box, and I keep finding treasures in that little booklet. I don't even know what company it's from, but it's really coming in handy. I did find 2 labels from that little book. Like I said, it's really come in handy. I have a black one and a hot pink one that I will go ahead and add, and they're not only labels, but they're also arrows with fishtails. So I'm getting more of the fishtail thing tucked in, and that's where I'm going to end up adding my very scant journaling will be on those little arrow pieces. So now this glue that I'm using very, very rarely gets stopped up, but when it does, you just add a little extra pressure and it kind of works itself out. So I did tappy fingers, which means that now it's time for me to figure out what else to add. I'm going to add 3 of the brads from this My Mind's Eye little set, and that was, gosh, it's a couple years old. It's called Palm something, but the colors ended up being spot on for fashionista. So in the event that you have both lines, go ahead and grab those little brads, and I'm sure some of the puffy stickers would look great as well with the fashionista line. Okie dokie. So I have my brads in 3 different places, and they're not holding anything down per se. They are merely being decorative. And now I grabbed these little, they're like florally, I don't know, they also reminded me for some reason of like a cornucopia, but they're from Freckled Fawn, from some grab box. Gosh, this is going back 3 or 4 years ago. They were in a grab box, but I will put them on 3 different places on the layout. They match perfectly, and I did use, 3 more things that I probably wouldn't have used if they weren't in the kit. Now I'm going to go ahead and use 3 different sentiments from these Vicky Bouton words, and some of them I'm going to cut off because I don't need the entire thing, or I don't need something as big. But like that where it says work, I mean, that's perfectly applicable for this layout. And yeah, I grabbed 3 different things, get those on there. So I have my tiny words, I've got my fiber, multiple pattern paper, 2 different titles. I have lots of good stuff going on, and lots of different things for your eye to roam around and see. Now you may remember that I also wanted to get some hearts in here, so I grabbed these puffy stickers that were a part of this kit, and lo and behold, there was actually some great little puffy heart bits that I was able to add in. I want to get my journaling on, and I generally journal using dark gray, and that did work for this, dark gray or charcoal. Every once in a while I have to use brown, sometimes black, but not much else aside from that. So what else do I want to tell you? Oh, go ahead and like and subscribe if you could. I would certainly appreciate it. I'll have the link down below for Kathy's channel. She is incredibly talented and fun and has the best stories as well. See what she's up to, and if you want to be notified for when my next layout goes live, please go ahead and just hit the notification little bell. I'm going to add a little bit of Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine to finish this off, just like you see there in the sketch. And that will be about it for today, friends. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.